Oh, grasshopper. All right, so we're back, and on today's video, we are doing some work on the Hudson. I think the goal is to try to do the rockers and then also the floor pans. So I have new floor pans, but the problem is that this is a 1954, and there are no reproduction 1954 rocker panels. I had to buy some for a 49 to 53. We'll see how far off those are. If they are too different, I guess I'll just try to see if I can't save these ones and then have them remade at some like sheet metal fabrication shop or something. Reason we're doing this is to come down here and take a look. They are quite corroded. It is on both sides. Also, before I go to the other side, we do have the small issue of there being hornets inside the Hornet. Got some, this is Hot Shot. This is the stuff that I use. I used to use like the Spectracide and the Raid, but I got a whole bunch of paper wasps around here and they don't really seem to respond to it in the same way. Up in there, you can maybe kind of see one. There is a wasp. We're gonna let that sit for a couple minutes. All right, but like I was saying, I do have new rocker panels and new floor pans. I also have some of the Rust-Oleum, not Rust-Oleum, why do I keep saying that? The Eastwood rust encapsulators. So we're gonna cut those rockers off. Hopefully we can save them just in case I need them, which I honestly probably will. And then we can use that rust encapsulator to try and prevent the rust from going around, kind of get a little bit of work done here. So before we get into this, there's a whole bunch of rust everywhere, so I am going to put my gloves on if I can find them. All right, so the first thing we got to do is figure out how to remove this trim piece here, because I think it's riveted on. Nope. Those appear to be Phillips. I don't know why I expected those to come off easily. Guess we're gonna cut them. All right, so I've got all the screws that are holding it in place all cut down or removed as applicable, which you guys just watched. I'm gonna shut the camera off because my battery's dying super fast. And when I get this plate off here, I'll get back to you guys, let you know what I did, because I'm pretty sure there's some kind of adhesive under there right now. So I'm sitting here trying to get this piece off, and I took this piece off, which is this guard thing that went right here. Probably gonna have to get a new one or make a new one or something, but this entire rail is all one piece. I thought it was just kind of like welded right here, but it extends all the way up into here and then goes underneath this quarter panel, which is this whole back thing. The quarter panels on these cars do come off. Like, I could unbolt it, but that is a lot of work. And by a lot of work, I mean I would have to completely disassemble like the entire back side of the car and get up in there. Can't even see that, just to get this to come off. And then there's the issue of where am I going to put this and how am I going to deal with the rust staging issue while this is off of the car. Oh, that is a ground bee. I thought I took care of them. I am going to check the front here and see if there's anything I got to. Probably gonna have to pull we're gonna have to pull this cover off the front too. I wonder if I remove it from the front, if I can just drop it down and then slide it out. Let me see if that's something I can do, because this goes all the way up here. I don't see anything that's holding it on there. Maybe moving it into the garage is the move, putting it up on jack stands. But I don't want to do that, because if I do, then I'm just going to completely tear the entire car apart, and I don't have the space for that. Plus I need the BMW to go back in the garage once that gets here, or once that gets back. I do have the service manual for these cars, so I'm gonna look through that and see if there's anything on there about removing the rocker and see what it says. And then, you know, maybe we can jump around a step or two. I'm gonna do some reading, I'll get right back. My favorite process of this so far has been how I said I didn't want to get my hands all rusty and cut up and everything. Got out the gloves and then I just proceeded to immediately not use them. Anyway, I think we have a plan moving forward. So what I've been doing is taking my trusty scraper here that I got at Harbor Freight. I've had this thing for probably close to a decade at this point. But this right here is the top part of this piece. So I've just been coming in here with my scraper and my little Japanese hammer thing, and then just tapping it in, trying to lift it up. So I'm gonna continue working my way down, and then when I get down to here, I don't really know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna go to the other side and then do the same thing for the rear section. This might be kind of loud because the car is obviously empty, but you know, it's whatever. I think it's hitting a spot weld right there. Yeah, that's definitely hitting spot welds. Oh, you guys kind of see what's going on. I'm just gonna do the rest of this and I'll get back to you. All right, guys, so I kind of got the whole thing sort of loose. I think it's still being held there in the center a little bit, but I managed to get this piece off. And rust is a little worse than I thought it was. So like this entire section, like all the way across, we're gonna have to cut that off and remake it, or take this quarter panel out and bring it to somebody that actually knows what it is that they're doing, because we all know that is not me. So I think I'm just going to do the rest of this off camera, and I will let you guys know when I actually get this panel off of here. All right, guys, as you can see, I am dirty, sweaty, and my shirt is ruined, but we have it removed. So if you'll notice, the ground is wet, and that is because I took my garden hose and I sprayed out the inside of the frame rail to kind of get all that dirt and stuff that was packed up in there out of there. And now I've just kind of got my fan blowing on it and trying to dry it off. So I'm gonna have to stop the fan because I don't have like a multi-prong or multi-port extension. And the next thing on our task, or the next thing that we're going to do, is wire brush the frame rail, and then we're going to put some Eastwood rust encapsulator on it, and then I'm going to call it for the night. It doesn't really look like it, but it's like 7 p.m. and by the time I get close to done with this, it's probably gonna be getting dark out. So I am just going to go ahead and get my time lapse set up, and then there's a very good chance that this camera battery is gonna die. So well, I can't say I'm surprised. Well, I can say that I'm kind of surprised that the battery's still alive after all that. I think I need a paved driveway or a larger garage, which I know that was probably one of my goals this year, but I don't think it's gonna happen, especially with just how much it's gonna cost and a bunch of other finance related stuff I got going on. I think I'm gonna put the fan on this for a couple hours and just kind of let it dry out, because there's still some water inside the frame rail, and water and paint don't really mix. I'm gonna get everything put up. I will see you guys tomorrow or the next day or a week from now. Honestly, it kind of depends on the weather when we do the other side. So uno momento. All right, guys, so we're back. It's been a couple of days. The weather is a balmy, absolutely frigid 80 degrees right now. It's the first time in probably a week that it's not 100 degrees with 200% humidity and raining 3 inches a minute. So we're back out here on the Hudson. We're gonna try and get the rocker panel off the other side and then do the floor pans, maybe. We'll see. I don't know. See how long this weather lasts. And then I got the frame rail all painted up. So I'll probably give that a clean here in a little bit and give it a second coat, because by the time I got to it last night, it was, but not last night, the other day, it was like 8 o'clock or something. So it was getting pretty dark pretty quick. So I got the rocker panels. I'm gonna try to save the other side as well, because I do need those to have somebody make new ones, because I don't know if the ones that I have, which once again are for 49 to 53, are gonna be the same. I'm told really the only difference is that the 49 to 53 ones are bolted in place and these ones are spot welded in place. But if that's the only difference, then I'll just spot weld those ones in place. So we'll see how that works out. So there is a couple of small rust spots on the frame rail. Nothing super crazy. Well, some of them are kind of big, but they're all in like flat spots, so it's not really like gonna be super difficult. So the first one is this one right here. So this is a big old rust hole right here. And there's a little bit of rust here, just kind of extending beyond this hole that was already there, like the manufacturing hole. A little bit over here, so probably just cut this whole section out. Small spot right there. I think that's just a drain hole. A little bit right here, and then this is probably the worst part right here. But it's just this whole little flat piece, and then there's the little section that goes across the bottom. It's not super crazy. The quarter panels are probably gonna need some professional attention, because I do not have the space or the technical know-how. Probably leave that to the professionals. You did see me take the other side off, so I am just gonna set this driver's side up on a time lapse and I'm just gonna get to it. No idea if the battery in this GoPro is going to last that long, but we'll see. So if it cuts out randomly, I guess it cuts out randomly, well then you'll know that the battery died. Oh guys, I got the wasp nest out of there. They're just paper wasps, so they're not really super aggressive, so they didn't really seem to care that I was destroying their house. Granted, I did spray it with like 2.5 cans of the wasp and hornet killer, so that might have had something to do with it. Anyway, driver's side panel is off. This one only took about 4 hours, whereas the passenger side one took like 6.5. But I'm gonna attribute that to me not knowing what I was doing, and then me kind of knowing what I was doing with this one. Anyway, so now I'm gonna put this one with the other one so I can find somebody who will ignore my calls again and try and get these remade, because I lack the skill, the material, and the space to make all those myself. The rust on this side, I haven't done the wire brush or anything, but I'm probably just gonna call it for today. So the rust on this driver's side on the frame rail is a little bit better, so there's not as much. Might be a couple spots. That's mostly surface rust that's gonna come off with the wire wheel, but it's all full of like dirt and foam, or not foam, and some weird insulation stuff. This part of the quarter panel came off. So the quarter panel are definitely gonna have to get removed, and those are also gonna need professional attention, because I don't have the skill to do that. I'm not even gonna make an attempt. It's gonna ruin it if I do. I'm going to take the hose and I'm gonna clear out the inside of this frame rail. I'm gonna let it dry. On Sunday, weather dependent, I'm gonna come back out here, wire wheel it, and then paint it. That makes sense. That makes the most sense. So I don't have to paint it with all this stuff in there and then worry about clearing out the inside of the frame rail. I'm gonna get this camera set up, I'm gonna show you just kind of what it is that I'm doing. And so basically we're just gonna take a garden hose and just stuff it in there and get all the stuff out. Yeah, see all that stuff coming out of there? So we're trying to get rid of. And you'll know you're done when the water runs clear and there's nothing left in there. You can also take a little hook and move the stuff around to try and free it up a little bit if you need to. All right, so I'm gonna let it dry for a couple of days. Tomorrow I'm going to Rockingham to get some stuff for the BMW. That's about a 5-hour drive from where I'm at. All right, so once it dries, we can take the wire wheel to it and then paint it. And then while I'm doing that, I might as well put the second coat on the driver's or passenger side, and we can move on to floor pans because those are a lot worse than when I originally uncovered them. All right, guys, it's been approximately 10 seconds and I wanted to run something by you real quick before you actually cut it off for the day. Originally, I had a couple different paint ideas for this car. One of them was that Falto, whatever green. I thought that would look pretty cool with like a pretty heavy green, or not green, gold flake in it. Or another color, which is called Eigengrau, which I guess is the color that you see when you like close your eyes. It's kind of like a super dark gray off black. I thought that would look pretty good with like a really heavy silver metallic. When I removed the front fascia thing off the driver's side, passenger side, excuse me, I keep saying driver's side. Some of the paint on the inside of it was actually, well, the outside of it too, was actually in pretty good condition. So this car originally was spring green, and these panels are still spring green. So my question is, do we do one of those fancy colors? Which might be super difficult to do because when I went to the paint shop to try and get a couple automotive paint samples, they said that I needed a sample of the paint in order to get a sample of the paint. So I told them if I had a sample, I wouldn't have come here. That's why I'm here, is to get a sample. Which, I mean, to me made sense, but that seemed to make them really mad. So probably not gonna be able to go there again. I'm thinking we use the spring green for the chrome because since it's all like rusted out, it's gotta get replated anyway. I was thinking we'd do like that black chrome, like that dark nickel, the black chrome, black nickel, whatever it is, the nickel plating, dark plating. I think that would look pretty cool. So we'd make all of this chrome. So there's window trim, door handles, those front and rear bumper handles, headlights, front bumper. This one's got to get taken apart anyway so I can fix the damage that I did. I just think that would look pretty cool, like that light green and then that shiny almost black chrome. So that's the current idea. Plus it'd be a lot easier to get a sample of a color that already exists than to try to get a sample for a color that is not typically used in an automotive setting. All right, guys, it is now Sunday. Went to Rockingham yesterday, got some stuff for the BMW, but we're gonna continue on with the Hudson. So now I'm going to take a wire wheel to the frame rail on the other side. We can go ahead and paint it, and then while that's drying,
clean off this passenger side one and then give that the second coat, and then when we finish with that, do the second coat on the driver's side, and then we can do the frame rails. Not the frame rails, the floor pans. Turns out the neighbor's dogs are coming over to say hi. This is Daisy. You guys know Bo. I think they're excited to see me. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the camera set up. We're gonna go and get everything painted and ready to go. Okay, it is quite toasty out here, but as you see, have seen or saw, we got the first coat on there. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn the camera off, put it on the charger, and then I'm gonna do the second coat for the passenger side, the driver's side, and then go ahead and finish up the floor pans. So I will see you when we get ready to take out the old floor pans. I'll show you kind of what it is that we're dealing with. All right, guys, it's been a couple of days. Unfortunately, we are gonna have to call the video here. So the last few days, the weather has not been super cooperative, and I'll be leaving town for a few weeks on Monday. So I'm trying to get this video, edited and posted either later today or tomorrow, depending on when you see it. Today it is Wednesday. It is in fact Wednesday. I don't have enough time left to do the floor pans, which need a pretty considerable amount of work. I don't really have the time to pull those out and then put the new ones in. So I'm just gonna do that when I get back from this trip, because I want to try to get a video posted at least once this month. Let me know what color you guys think I should paint the Hudson. I was thinking the original spring green, and then doing the black chrome or black nickel plating would be pretty cool. If you have any other options, just put them in the comments down below. I'll see you guys in the next video.